Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in the beautiful wine region of Lower Franconia, Germany. So a while back now, some of you may remember that I made a video titled How to Spot a German. A lot of you, especially my German subscribers, just really enjoyed this video, found it pretty hilarious. Many of you were just really curious to know how us non-Germans are able to quickly spot a German who is visiting our country, and honestly it's not very hard. I can probably 95% of the time pick out a German anywhere. I thought, do you know what, maybe people are interested in seeing a follow-up video on how to spot a German, and I did a little bit of a research on the topic. Sometimes I will do this because I just want to know if other people agree with my opinions, and I actually stumbled upon a Reddit feed talking about this exact topic. So this gave me an idea. I thought, why not put a little bit of a twist on how to spot a German and react to how other people, other non-Germans, can spot a German anywhere. So make sure you keep watching. I'm going to be getting into that really soon, but first I want to give just a quick shout out to an incredible learning platform for school-age children here in Germany. It's called Sofatutor. Sofatutor is a fun, interactive learning platform for school-age children here in Germany, from first grade right up until the end of school, right up until Abitur. It helps kids with basically every area of the German curriculum, and it's done in a really fun, interactive way. So it's done through all of these games, like fun, interactive games, and also through learning videos with really cool, funny cartoons. Seriously, Matteo, my 7-year-old, is obsessed with Sofatutor. He just loves it. He can't get enough, and he loves it because he gets like instant rewards for getting right answers. It's just really motivating for him, and it makes learning really fun. So if any of you have school-age kids in Germany and you want to get them motivated and give them a head start, then I highly recommend Sofatutor. I've got an amazing deal for you. You can test out Sofatutor, the full version with no restrictions, for 30 days. You can decide if this is something helpful for your child. You can cancel at any time throughout that month. There's no strings attached. But if you get to the end of the month and you decide that you want to keep using Sofatutor, then I have an 80% discount for you. I will leave all of that information in my description below. Okay guys, so let's jump into it. I'm going to be reacting to some comments on a Reddit thread about how to spot a German anywhere. So I've got the comments here saved on my phone. I just picked out the ones that I thought were the best. Somebody replied to this by saying they're either overdressed or underdressed, no in between. It's either a huge backpack and hiking clothing / boots, hiking poles in the city, or they're wearing jeans and flip-flops when they're in the mountains. Also visible by how they walk. Can't really explain why, but it always looks like they own the place when they're here. Hold on, there was a lot in that comment. Okay, so I'll break it down. The first part, they're either overdressed or underdressed, no in between. I kind of agree with this, and I have talked about this in more recent videos actually. I've talked about how I feel as though many Germans overdress their children at the start of spring. I feel like many Germans are just really slow to adapt to the change in season, if that makes sense. It usually takes a good month or so for most Germans to finally be ready to break out their sandals and their sort of summery clothes. And I'm not saying this is the case for all Germans, just a lot of Germans I see seem to have this issue. It's kind of understandable because the weather in Germany can be quite unpredictable, and you can have 5 seasons in one day during early springtime. I don't think Germans have that problem with winter. I feel as though they are super quick to get into their winter clothes as soon as there is a little bit of cooler weather. This person talks about being able to spot a German because they're wearing a huge backpack and hiking clothing and boots and those big hiking poles, and 100% yes. Like, I used to be able to spot German backpackers in New Zealand by their trekking gear, and particularly like the labels of their trekking gear, you know, Jack Wolfskin. Most of the time if you see somebody in New Zealand just decked out in trekking gear from head to toe, it's a pretty reliable indication that this person is German. or Dutch maybe, but mostly German. Also the hiking poles, I never saw hiking poles in New Zealand. I only discovered them and knew that they were a thing when I got to Germany, because a lot of Germans, particularly sort of, I don't know, middle-aged to sort of older Germans, will use hiking poles to just help them along when they are trekking, and it's just a very typical German thing to do. So yes, I agree on that part. Also the backpacks. Backpacks are such a German thing, and that is definitely something that I have caught on to. I love wearing backpacks, especially as a mum, and especially when my kids were little. Honestly, backpacks are so practical and so comfortable, and I still wear backpacks, and I never wore them in New Zealand. And so yeah, Germans, a lot of Germans wear backpacks, and it's just a very German thing to wear. So yeah, agree with that part. The part about being able to spot a German just by the way they walk, I don't agree with that. I don't think you can spot a German purely based on the way they walk. I wish that person had been a little bit more specific about this, because no, I can't spot a German by the way they walk. Okay, so the next one, I had to laugh a little bit. Big ass camper van that takes up 2/3 of the roads up in the north. Goes for the Dutch as well. You almost have to drive off the road every time you see one coming against you. 100% Germans love to drive these big flash camper vans. I don't know what it is, Germans just love this luxury camping, or glamping you could call it. I made a video a while ago now after I went camping in Germany about how German camping is totally different to New Zealand style camping, and how most Germans, they have all like the flash expensive camping gear and these big camping vans, and that is not considered camping in New Zealand. New Zealand style camping is rugged, off-grid, you don't need a lot of fancy gear, and this luxury glamping that the Germans love to do, it's definitely a dead giveaway that you are German. Okay, so this next comment I thought was interesting. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I'll read it out anyway. Unlike every other tourist, they don't try to talk in English, but use German instead. They seem to think everybody speaks their language. I don't think there is much difference in appearance between a German and a Dutch person though. I don't know who wrote that comment, but I definitely don't agree with that. I think it is the complete opposite actually. So Germans, out of all the backpackers in New Zealand, are really good at speaking English. Like, I feel as though the average German backpacker speaks a really high level of English. At least they're able to communicate with you in English, and I don't ever recall a German backpacker trying to speak German with me. Like, I don't know where that comment came from. So compared to backpackers from other countries, say French backpackers or South American backpackers, or, you know, Eastern European backpackers in New Zealand, German backpackers speak awesome English, and they never speak German to people who obviously don't speak German. So yeah, that's my thought on that part. The last part about not being able to tell the difference between Germans and the Dutch, I agree with. I think it can be a little bit tricky. Just like New Zealanders and Australians, it can be hard to tell the difference with their style and how they dress, and same goes with the Germans and the Dutch. Okay, next comment. In Australia, incredibly sunburnt, nearly getting themselves killed regularly in small groups, found around typical backpacker / tourist areas. In Europe, fashion style black jeans, shirt and / or coat, and general manner of behaviour. I can't describe it, but I can often spot it immediately, probably because I live here, since I can also do it with Aussies. Okay, let me dissect this comment. The part about Germans being incredibly sunburnt, nearly getting themselves killed regularly, I agree with that to a certain extent. The sun here in Germany is completely different to the sun in the southern hemisphere, and I think Germans, a lot of Germans traveling to New Zealand or Australia, get themselves into a pretty bad situation with just assuming that our sun is the same. So in New Zealand, for example, I've talked about this in other videos, but we have a massive hole in our ozone layer, and so we have hardly any protection from the sun's harmful rays. So it is very, very easy to get very, very badly sunburnt if you are not aware of this. You need to be very, very cautious about, you know, the sun, and you need to protect yourself well from the sun with, you know, a high SPF sun cream and, you know, hats and that type of thing, and avoid the sun at certain times of the day. And obviously if you come to New Zealand from another country, you may not be aware of this. So I do kind of agree with that person's comment, but I don't think it's just Germans you see who are bright red and sunburnt. I think it is just backpackers in general who are, you know, in the southern hemisphere. The part about they're in small groups found typically around backpacker tourist areas, yeah, I guess, but all backpackers hang around in groups, you know, around these tourist areas. So I don't know, I don't think that comment is really specific to Germans, just backpackers in general. So the last part, in Europe, fashion style, black jeans, shirt and / coat, and general manner of behaviour. I don't necessarily agree on like the black jeans and the shirt or coat, but I agree on the fact that it can be quite easy to pick out a German because of their style, and I go more into that in a video that I made a while back, how to spot a German. I think many Germans have a very specific way of dressing, a very particular style, but not like black jeans, or I mean maybe some Germans wear black jeans, but it's not a typical German thing to wear. What else does he say? Typical manner of behaviour. That's a little bit vague, but definitely some things Germans do can indicate that they are German. For example, just say you're in like a public pool area, Germans think it's okay to reserve their spot by just placing their towel on their seat, and that is just not something that is done in New Zealand, and I definitely think this is a typical German thing to do. If I saw somebody doing that, I would know straight away that is a German. And just other little mannerisms Germans have. I could probably make a whole video on this, but yeah, you can definitely tell if a person's German just by certain things they do. Okay, so the next comment simply says Jack Wolfskin clothing, and I had to laugh at this one. This is 100% on point. Jack Wolfskin, for those of you who don't know, it is a trekking brand. Jack Wolfskin equals German middle-aged man. I'm sorry, I am completely stereotyping here, but there is definitely some truth to this. A lot of truth, actually. Okay, and the next comment, 2 words, socks and sandals. And unfortunately I have to agree with this. This is a very German thing to do, to wear socks and sandals, and it's mostly trekking sandals, so maybe they're even Jack Wolfskin sandals. But yeah, Germans do wear socks and sandals. Not all of them, like the majority of Germans don't do this, but a lot of Germans do. So in New Zealand you'll see them, the backpackers. I don't understand. What is the point in wearing socks and sandals? If it's a little bit colder, wouldn't you just wear socks and shoes? Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Germans can be a little bit unsure when it comes to like dressing appropriately for the weather, so they're wearing socks just in case. So they may think it's not warm enough to just wear sandals on their own, so just to be on the safe side they will put on socks with their sandals. So maybe if it gets a little bit warmer later, they can take off their socks, so they're just in their sandals. I don't know, that is just a theory I've come to, but who knows. Don't get me wrong, there are so many really stylish Germans. I think a lot of Germans know how to dress really well, but unfortunately socks and sandals are definitely a German thing. So anyway guys, I have come to the end of this video. This was just a little bit of light-hearted fun. Hopefully no one takes offense to anything I talked about, and you know, feel free to point out anything about me that sticks out as a New Zealander. I don't mind. I think it's always really interesting to analyze different countries and cultures, and it's just something I enjoy doing. Before I go, I just wanted to remind you that if you are interested in checking out Sofatutor, an incredible learning platform platform for school-age children here in Germany. I will leave a link for where you can do so in my description below. If you click on my link, you will have access to a 30-day full trial, no restrictions. You can cancel at any time, and if you decide you want to keep using Sofatutor after that, if your child really likes it, then you will receive an 80% discount on your Sofatutor subscription. So don't miss out on that amazing deal. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I know that so many of you who watch my videos are not actually subscribed, so if you would consider subscribing, that would mean so much to me. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!